Hi, this is Callan Diggs, author of the Reaching the Finish Line series. Typically, when I talk about reaching the finish line, you may have heard me discuss quite a bit about the expat lifestyle. And that's a common way people use to reach their finish line. Nowadays, the expat lifestyle has become more attractive because people can also take their work with them and live in other countries with higher quality of life with lower cost of living. You may ask, what is good advice for future expats? And that's a good question that I will answer in this video. We will look at some tips from an American expat couple that lives in Ecuador. I used to live in Ecuador 12 years ago. I don't live there now for many reasons. One of them I will discuss later in the video. But we will look at some of their tips, and I'm going to comment in between to offer my comments and, in addition, other things you should consider. Let's take a look at the first tip.
The first crucial step is to make a list of your priorities, and this could be anything. Healthcare availability, medication availability, how good is the internet? That was really important for us. Obviously, there's a huge variety. There's so many different reasons why you might choose one country over the other, so you really need to determine what's most important to you.
That's a good piece of advice. And while internet, healthcare, and those other things that typically come top to mind, while they are very important, I think there is one factor that many people overlook, and that is the difference of culture. Because this is going to be your new country, well, this will be your new reality every day. Do you want to live in a country that has a culture similar to yours, or do you prefer to live in a country that has a culture different than yours? Are you open to that? Are you flexible? Because that will play a significant factor of your life. And once you have created a list of those priorities, most importantly, including the culture, then you can determine the best countries for you.
The second crucial step is to choose one or more potential expat destinations. When I was doing the research, I started out with the International Living Top 10 list. That was a really good place to start, and I kind of branched outward from there.
I don't think that's bad advice. The only thing that I would add to that is to diversify your sources of information, because overall you want to have a balanced approach. Consider certain publications like International Living. They want to sell you more than a magazine subscription. And unfortunately, other things that these types of publications sell in these countries that they're recommending tend to be overpriced. So be careful with that.
The third crucial step is to research the visa requirements. Obviously, this is really important. You need to have a visa so you're not there illegally. And every country has its own set of visa requirements, and usually they have more than one available. So you need to find out what is going to make the most sense for your unique situation.
That is great advice. A residency visa will be the best solution for you. Sometimes there are people who will go there the first time on a tourist visa, and then they try to get these unlimited or forever renewals or extensions of their tourist visa. Uh, and some people have been successful for a while, but a lot of countries are putting an end to that. And they want people to go through the temporary or permanent residency process. You know, it's interesting as an American, a lot of people are maybe critical of how immigrants come to the USA, but many Americans are doing the same thing in those countries too. So uh, the best way is to follow the law, and that is by understanding the visa requirements and applying accordingly.
The fourth crucial step if you want to move abroad is to join some expat support groups online. When I was looking at Ecuador, I joined the Ecuador Expats Facebook group and the Cuenca Expats Facebook group, and that allowed me to meet some people who are already living here and talk to them, ask them some questions, and then also we can meet up with them when we came here on our exploratory trip. Reddit is another good site to find some people, so it's expats.com. They have a really nice forum on Ecuador and all the other popular expat destinations. So you can go on there and meet a lot of people.
That's also good advice. The only thing that I want you to consider is even when you're joining those online expat groups, whether it's Facebook or Reddit or wherever else, just remember it's free advice and you get what you pay for. So so some of it may be helpful, but the others might be from people who don't live there. You know, maybe they allowed you into the group even though you don't live there, and you have other people telling you about the country and they don't live there either. So there's that dilemma. Something for you to keep in mind.
The sixth crucial step is to create your plan. So after you return home from your exploratory trip, you're going to want to determine what your timeline for your expat exodus is and determine if you need to transition your income to a different source. So are you going to quit your job? Are you going to retire? Do you need to make income online or from some source that you can work from anywhere? So you need to start that process really early.
One note that I will add to that is consider your current situation. If you have a job that you have to work for an office, maybe you can talk to your boss to see if it's possible that you can work from home. In some jobs, that's not possible. Maybe in that case, you need to have enough savings to last you for a while until you're able to find other employment. Also consider, if you're traveling with family, do they have a disability, or if there's other special accommodations? That's something you need to know if that's present in your desired country. Also keep in mind that once you become a resident of that country, it's very likely there will be no social welfare program. So if something happens, you need additional assistance, it's very unlikely that you will get that. That is a benefit typically reserved for citizens and permanent residents. In many cases, most countries will require you to start as a temporary resident, and after several years, you could become a permanent resident. In that case, if they offer those programs, possibly you can be eligible for them.
Importantly, start working on that language. I thought I knew all sorts of words and then I got here and I didn't know anything. So it never hurts to start that process early in your planning stage. We used some apps like Duolingo and Memrise. We've heard some people have used Babbel and they like that a lot. You could also try Rosetta Stone.
I really recommend that. The only other alternative, which I don't recommend, is to live in the expat community bubble. And some people do that. You know, they find a country that has a large expat community, and uh, you know, the locals that live there, they speak English, so the new expats don't learn the language there, and unfortunately, you will pay a price for that. You know, typically in those areas, uh, real estate is more expensive, restaurants is more expensive, taxi rides is more expensive, everything is more expensive. Okay, you have to decide. Okay, if you're getting a large pension, maybe you won't care about that, but that depends on what is going to be your monthly budget as an expat. An additional thing is when it comes to mobility, some people may prefer to have a car. That's one of the reasons why I didn't choose Ecuador as my plan B, because unfortunately, not only do you have to uh, pay an importer to bring it, but you can't anyway because you have to be a citizen. And the cars there, I preferred to have the car I had when I was in the U.S. And I was able to bring that with me to Mexico. So that's one advantage that Mexico has over many other countries due to the close proximity. So hope that was helpful. And until next time, I hope you are reaching the finish line.